I don't have the energy for this. For what? Gestures vaguely at everything. And I think it's funny because like neurotypical level of oh, I'm tired seems to be really different, which is why when you say you're like tired or you're exhausted or you don't have the energy for this, people will be like, oh yeah, no, you just need to pull it together. Like I feel like that too sometimes. You just need to push through, because if that works for you, great, but chances are you only hear this from neurotypicals, you know. Hello BabyQueers and welcome back to my channel. Today we're doing some neurodivergent memes again, because why the hell not? I probably have too many saved already. But anyways, you know the deal. Before we continue, y'all gotta get hydrated. So grab some water or some tea, whatever else you'd like to drink, and then we'll continue. In the meantime, also feel free to like and subscribe. Do you have your drink? Okay, let's go. Hey, sorry I overreacted. I always do that whenever anything happens. Unless it's one of those moments where people are expecting a big reaction, in which case I might probably not have a reaction at all. You know? Like, a lot of people very understandably actually have a fairly big reaction to someone dying. That's gonna be one of those moments where I'm not gonna have a reaction at all. Someone got into a car crash and they're currently comatose. Why am I not having a reaction? But as soon as like minor things happen that just like seem super trivial to other people, then I'm gonna have a big reaction and then just be like, oh yeah, don't worry about this. I always overreact. You know, yeah. My mama didn't raise no quitter, but she did raise a pretty good procrastinator. But does it count as procrastinating if you keep thinking about the thing, but your executive function won't let you actually get started on the thing? Does that still count as procrastinating, or is it only procrastination if it's by choice? If you're like, you know what, I could get up and get started on this project I have to do, or get started on this chore around the house I wanted to do, but I don't want to. I'd rather sit here and watch the 5th episode of a show I just started. Does it count as procrastination if it's not by choice? You forgot? Must not be important. Listen, bro, I can and have forgotten to eat, pee, sleep, cash checks. I've lost my car by taking the bus home after driving there. Importance is not a distinguishing factor here. The fact that Commodore 64 has more RAM than I do is the issue. But especially as a child or teenager, constantly being told that you should care a little bit more, that something should be more important to you because that way you won't forget it, you know, whenever you forgot a jacket at school or whatever. You know, or like you lost something, and always being told that you should just like think it's more important because that'll fix everything. This is not how this works. Like, I can understand trying to get your child to be careful with their things, but with a neurodivergent child specifically, probably that's not gonna be helpful. Because do you know how often I misplace things? Because I don't, because I forget how often that is, but it's kind of a lot. I just picked up a rubber band that had been in the same spot on my bedroom floor for a month. Absolutely incredible to see what I'm capable of when I give it my all. And also just, is it just me? I don't think it's just me, that you're just like mad that it's there because you haven't put it away. When you know you walk past it like at least 10 times a day and you're just like, oh yeah, I still need to pick that up. But like as the month goes on, at first it's a casual, oh yeah, I should really pick that up sometimes. And then it turns into, why the frick why is it still there? Why have I not picked it up? Until at some point, either the rage builds up enough or I'm panic cleaning because someone visits, that I can pick it up. Or I'm just like distracted enough, you know? Or I'm like on my way to do something important. And then I see it, I'm just like, oh yeah, need to do something important. So I pick it up and then forget the actual important thing I wanted to do. But at least the rubber band isn't on the floor anymore. Me, I'm going to bed early tonight. Also me at 3 a.m. Do ghosts have teeth? And if they do, and let's kind of go by like supernatural logic, where at first when someone dies and becomes a ghost, they can't really affect their surroundings, they have to practice it. If they practice it enough, could they actually bite people? Is like, if you feel like a random pain on your arm or your leg or whatever, is that from a ghost poking you or biting you? And am I ever gonna sleep again? If good things come to those who wait, isn't procrastination a virtue? Brings me back to my question from earlier. If you choose to wait, if procrastination is only if you choose not to do something or to do it later, in that case, yes, I would say it's a virtue. If you don't actually choose to wait, if you're just like paralyzed and can't do it, you're not actually waiting, in which case it wouldn't count as a virtue. So I guess it depends. And then I have I love these. I have like a folder full of like K-pop reaction memes of random K-pop people, or in this case, King Sungmin, because why not? Of just like reaction memes to things. Have I ever used them? No, but I could. I have a whole folder with like 150 pictures or something. Like me at every social gathering. Because this might not be the exact face, but this is the exact mood. And also, me processing nothing but still being overwhelmed somehow. How? Should I be impressed that I'm able to process nothing but I'm still overwhelmed? Maybe not. Maybe not. But also, this. Do I have it saved to my reaction memes? Absolutely. Because I might need it at some point, you know? Charcuterie is just what happens when you have a depressed meal and eat assorted things straight out of the fridge, but you're business depressed, so you just put it on a piece of wood. This is like one of those, what is classy if you're rich, but trashy if you're poor. Only what is trashy if you're depressed, but like classy if you're rich or business depressed, I guess. Because I get not wanting to especially clean a piece of wood, but even like throwing it on a plate might be different. But honestly, then you have to wash a plate, so just eating it straight out of the fridge or out of the package or whatever seems entirely fair. I'd rather walk barefoot across a rug of Legos than share a fun fact about myself with a group of people, especially like a new group of people with like new coworkers or something or stuff like that. Honestly, no. I hate it. Like already if it's like a one-on-one or like a small group of people. In Germany, there's the saying, erzähl mir einen Schwank aus deiner Jugend, which is like, tell me like a funny story or a fun story that happened in your youth. I cannot describe the level of panic I felt. Luckily, last time someone asked me this, we were like sitting in a car, just the two of us, because she had driven us to a place and we were like waiting for other people to show up. And she immediately like picked up her phone and was like looking through a playlist or something, so she didn't expect an answer. You know, but I was still panicking for a second there. Or a minute. You know, until I realized she really wasn't gonna like follow up and actually expect an answer. You know, that's just no, give me Legos any day. You need to relax. Best I can do is dissociate though. Like, I've been told this too often I need to relax more. I need to be more chill. Whereas people who don't know me can't read me and think I'm always relaxed, which is also kind of a fun combo, I guess. When everything goes wrong, but you're already used to it. Post it with a caption of just because I'm used to it doesn't mean I like it, which is very fair. Because that's kind of the exact mood. That's like one of the things where sometimes you just don't have a big reaction to something and people think you're like fine with it or everything's good and you're doing okay, but really you're just used to it but still pissed off. But that's also where the other people probably not reading us correctly comes in, and they just think you're okay when internally you're just like screaming, crying, potentially throwing up. But yeah, sometimes we just don't have an outward reaction because we're used to it, but that doesn't mean we actually enjoy it and would prefer it to be this way, you know? Most girls, I hang out with guys, there's less drama. Me, I hang out by myself, there's no drama, and I don't have to wear pants. Depending on your relationship with other people, though, you won't have to wear pants with them either. You know, you might have to wear like sweatpants or shorts or something, but you don't have to wear like jeans or something. Or you could just hang out in your underwear, I guess. You know, depends on your relationship to these people. But also, is this actually true? I don't think guys are actually less dramatic. Really. Like, I've never been convinced of this because just no. Just really no. Neurodivergent employee. Hey boss, I found a problem, discovered a solution, and implemented it. Neurotypical manager, you're going to hunt me for sport? Is that what you're saying? You want to burn me alive and take my job? Is that what you're saying when really you're just trying to make it easier for everyone? You know? You're really just trying to make it easier. You're not pointing things out, like even if you haven't found a solution yet, you're not pointing things out to be rude or cause drama. You're just trying to like brainstorm a solution maybe. Or you just like thought you let them know if a problem like that comes up again, that your manager, who should be like helping and managing his employees, knows how to handle it if the situation comes up again. It's meant as a helpful hint, but that doesn't mean it gets taken as such. Me and the pervasive fear that I'm doing something wrong at all times. And also, like, I feel like the backpack of the pervasive fear that I'm doing something wrong is a little smaller if I'm like in private, if I'm like alone. But I still carry a backpack. It's maybe just like normal sized backpack, couldn't like in contrast to this freaking huge ass backpack we carry around outside with other people. But apparently I'm always wearing a backpack, which is really strange. Like really, you're just chilling somewhere alone. And your brain's just like, no, but you're doing that wrong. And you're just like, what do you mean I'm doing this wrong? Like, no one's getting hurt, no one's dying, no one's even like witnessing this or being influenced by this. What do you mean I'm doing it wrong? I'm just like existing. Why? I know why, but seriously, why? The good news is with practice, you can like make the backpack smaller and smaller, which makes it a whole lot more manageable. Me showing clear signs of disability. My mom, stop being lazy. What do you mean you're struggling? I've had it so much harder when I was your age. Or, oh come on, it's not that difficult. You just need to pull yourself together. You just need to try harder. Well, your mom certainly can't see the clear signs. Like, to be fair, those are easier to see if you know what you're looking for, you know? And I feel like your mom was actually kind of trying her hardest not to look. But I think we've all had this, of being like, oh, but you're smarter than this. You just need to like implement yourself more. I think too many of us have heard that, especially as like a child or teenager. How it feels to sense someone isn't a good person, but not being able to say anything until the neurotypicals TM catch on. And then you just like hope. Because you either bring it up with someone and they have like a really weird reaction, and they're just like, what are you talking about? They're so nice. Like, they're such a fun person. Or you just have the, oh, yeah, no, I know. Like, especially at work, it's like, oh, yeah, no, I know he's not like the most motivated person here, but he's so cool to hang out with. Like, it's just the tiniest bit frustrating. Yeah, you know, the kind of reaction we have when the grocery store rearranges for no reason. Literally, I don't know what's worse. If you only visit a store every couple of months and this happens, because I feel like then you already maybe have to look for a few things because you might not know where everything is. Or if a store does this that you go to like basically every time. Because I feel like the first situation might be harder for me. Because like if you go there all the time and then they rearrange, some things will still be where they were before, and it's still overwhelming because you need to look for so many things and go back and forth like 10 million times to find everything you're looking for, or just like give up halfway through. But in the first instance, if you already don't know your way around a store that well, and then they rearrange on top of it and everything just looks different, I feel like that would probably be worse for me. You know, I hope nobody sees me eating alone and feels sorry for me. I am generally having the time of my life. Yeah, this whole mentality of, oh, if someone's alone, that means they must be lonely or sad or whatever is still kind of weird to me. Same with like judging people who are like single, especially if they're like older, you know. I say older just to mean like not early 20s anymore. Like why? You know, like if someone actually generally looks upset, maybe checking on them and asking if they're okay or if they want company. Okay, but like most of the time, if you can't tell what state someone's in, maybe just chill. Let them eat alone or watch the movie alone. Like, you don't need to talk to people just because they're somewhere alone. You know, really, really don't. Neurodivergent child asks a lot of questions because something doesn't make sense to them. Parent, why are you arguing with me? You know, and then you grow up and you think it's gonna be different. But if you do this in the workplace, the same managers, like we talked about earlier, will be like offended that you're asking questions or that you're causing drama or just like wanna disrupt everyone or whatever. Like, unfortunately, it does not end after childhood. You know? Which is fun, of course. Autistic people, vampires, hating sunlight and working best at night. You know, I don't know if I work best at night. I think like if I could work during the day without anyone disrupting me, because that's like the cool thing about night. Like no one else really is awake and you can just like do the thing and be in the zone. And personally for me, sleep deprivation helps a little bit. Like if I only sleep three hours, the first day I'm honestly way more productive because I'm just tired enough really for my brain to be quieter than usual, which just helps me focus better. So if I could hit that stage during the day without anyone talking to me, I feel like I would work well during the day too. But apart from that, yeah, working at night also just hits a little different mood-wise. I don't know why, it just does. So yeah, maybe night is better, but we could reach like almost peak working at night levels during the day too, if people just left you alone, you know? Highly sensitive to anything that suggests I didn't try hard enough. You have no idea how much effort I put into everything. Just because my effort and output doesn't always seem equal to others, they have no idea how much I have to force my brain into action. And then also there's like someone asking, oh, why did you react so strongly to that? Like, I wasn't accusing you of anything, I was just like asking. Because I do the same thing when someone suggests I like didn't try hard enough. And then just like, oh, it's not that deep, like I wasn't judging or accusing you of anything. Like, maybe not you specifically, but a lot of people do. And especially if you grow up hearing it a lot, you are gonna just have this reaction. And unfortunately, if you're like autistic or ADHD, you will have heard this too many times growing up. So yeah, kind of understand being that highly sensitive to it, because honestly, same. People, but you're high functioning, level 1, lower support needs. My brother in Christ, just because I'm able to realize that screaming until I pass out will get the cops called on me, doesn't mean I don't still feel the urge to do so when forced to exist in this hellscape you call reality. I feel like having the urge to do something like that, or having the urge to just like randomly run or jump or scream or whatever because you just feel so much energy coursing through you, and on top of that, having to control it to like not do it because you know people will literally just like yell at you if you start running around or jumping, or just like call the cops on you if you're behaving suspicious or whatever, because they'll think you're on drugs or whatever. You know, doesn't specifically make it easier. You know, like just because we learned how to mask our struggles doesn't mean the struggles aren't there. It is something a lot of people find hard to understand though, apparently. And just be like, oh, but you don't struggle that much. Like, we do, just not that outwardly a lot of times. I struggle with change. Me too. Struggling with change while grocery shopping. And just struggling with change in general, but honestly both. Which is part of the reason I just always pay with card. Because just like having people breathe down your neck at the grocery store is already bad enough, but then just like standing there like waiting to move while you're sorting your change away, especially if you're like very specific about how you put money away in your wallet, is not a mood. We're not doing that, so we're just paying with card and struggling with other change, you know. Awesome behavior, dude. Seems really natural. Do you mind if I mimic it to appear human? Not at all. Not at all. Like, honestly, it'd be pretty funny if people think that about my behavior, because I probably just picked it up from somewhere. I picked it up from a cool character in a movie or a series I watched. I picked it up from like a popular kid in school, because, well, if they do it, it's okay, then I can do it too, you know? So it'd be pretty funny if someone steals my stolen behavior, but it would also kind of make sense. And I think we should probably be friends. Me trying to figure out how many hours you're actually meant to work in a day. Because neurotypicals be like, nobody actually focuses on work for 8 hours, you know? Okay, buddy, so how many hours are you supposed to be focused then? Like, what are the rules? Literally, what are the rules? Because, like, do I just take my phone out and chill? Do I just try to work slower, which never works for me, by the way. I can't purposely work slower. Like, what are the rules? Which is why I enjoy home office, because then I can just like check how much other people are getting done a little bit, and then just like actually take like maybe more frequent breaks if I think I'm working too fast. But in the office, oh boy. What are the rules? Someone tell me right the hell now. And on that note, I think we're mad about people not understanding us and us not understanding other people that well. Or at least I am. So I'm gonna leave it here. I hope you enjoyed me ranting and these memes. And I hope you're hydrated. If not, maybe go drink something now. And I'll be back in a few days with my next video.